SMUD is transitioning to greenhouse gas as the corresponding metric for their residential and demand side portfolio in general. And the question that we're really trying to answer is helping connect the dots between this GHG forecast that they now have, which is a really unique thing and a wonderful thing to have at the utility side, to the actual meter-based impacts of electrification. And they have a very unique data set that was available to us where this is kind of a researcher's dream. They had heat pump installations in single family homes that were only heat pump installations. So there weren't a lot of extra measures or extra things done to the households. So it gives us a very clean look at what the impact of a heat pump was upon installation in a real home. We had 713 of these projects that we ended up incorporating into this analysis, all single family home heat pump installations. We computed hourly load impacts from all of these projects, and we're able to see with all of this aggregated together what the average impact of a heat pump installation actually is on the grid. And then with this greenhouse gas forecast that SMUD has available, we're able to roll it into the greenhouse gas calculation itself. In order to do this right, all of these projects were electric to electric conversion, so we needed a comparison group. So SMUD, working with Margaret, provided a lot of homes that were gas heating homes, and we created a stratified sampling scheme that we can go into the details later if folks are really interested in. But just wanted to put that out there that this wasn't just a apples to apples. We had to really dig into this to get what we believe is an accurate load impact assessment of a heat pump installation in a single family home. So what you're looking at here is the actual 8760 load shape of heat pump customer, a gas heating customer, and then in orange down below is the impact from the heat pump itself. Rolling this up really into monthly impacts. And in the winter time, you're going to see increased load, and we're starting to see this winter peaking behavior from heat pump customers. But in the summertime, you can see the dip in May, June, July, August, September. You get a more efficient air conditioner, so you actually end up reducing summer peak load because of a heat pump. So we can roll this up into seasonal impacts, and what you're seeing here is just the winter demand impact from a heat pump. That's in orange. We've isolated it in orange on an hourly basis for an average heat pump customer, an average day in the winter. And the blue line is the average heat pump customer's load shape, and the green line is the average gas heating customer load shape. And there are a few things I'd point out here that are pretty commonsensical, but it's nice to see and to actually have this information available to us because these, again, are real world installations. The heat pump customer shows this behavior where they're heating their home in the winter morning time, right? It's cold, people wake up, they heat their home, they have their thermostat set. And then when the sun comes up in the middle of the day, you start to see this decrease and you see this dip, and it's almost like a duck curve flipped horizontally. And then in the evening, you see this peak. And the orange is the impact from the heat pump in an isolated way. You can see that it actually would basically double the winter morning load from what a gas heating customer would have. So the summertime is an entirely different story. Now the heat pump is acting as a more efficient air conditioning system. And so now the gas heating customer is using more, especially during the midday hours and the early evening hours. And the heat pump is a more efficient air conditioning system. So you see the orange curve now, it goes below zero. So you're saving energy because of the heat pump. And then, of course, the name of the game here is to roll all of this into an 8760 greenhouse gas analysis. And so what we're not showing here is the impact from actually removing the furnace, because that's where the biggest bang for your GHG dollar is going to be. I think average furnace in SMUD territory probably is around 1.5 tons per year of GHG. But what we're showing here is just the impact on the electric grid and how it's going to change over time. So in 2020, what you see is across the horizontal of this graph are just the months of the year, January, February through December. And then going down, you see the hours of the day. And that winter morning peak that we're seeing is there in red in January, February in the morning hours. But you see that dark green section is really the summer peak period. That's where the impact of the heat pump itself on the electric grid alone is really saving a lot of carbon. But overall in 2020, you add a heat pump, it adds about half of a ton of GHG to the electric grid. Of course, you're getting that 1.5 tons removed from the furnace. But then as we go over time, we really see why electrification is a key decarbonization strategy. So 2025, we're starting to get greener. 2030, we're much greener. 2035, now we're actually saving GHG on the electric grid by itself from a heat pump installation. And then finally in 2040, we see increased savings from GHG from the heat pump alone.